Good morning and welcome to the Rise and Grind Mastermind Call. This call will start on September 8th, 2016. This is the Mastermind Group. The Mastermind Group concept was formulated by Napoleon Hill in his book Think and Grow Rich, which was published in the early 1900s. What a mastermind group is, if this is your first time on this call, it's a group of like-minded people who come together to accumulate a great fortune. So what we do is share like-minded ideas to become more successful. These ideas are either things that we're already implementing in our life or things that we just want to discuss as far as things that we need to start implementing in our life. This call will start on September 8th, like I said before, but this is a live call as well. This call is placed on SoundCloud, Podomatic, iTunes, things of that nature. The motto of this call is start your day with a vision. And today we're talking about staying on track. Stay on track is the topic of today's call. This is February, and, in this month, a month ago, people started their New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions, a lot of people, even researchers have said that a lot of people who started their New Year's resolutions somewhere around February 15th is over with. They've even quit. They didn't stay strong. They didn't hold fast to the New Year's resolutions. So today when we're talking about staying on track, we're talking about remaining strong even when your New Year's resolutions fail. And I know that I'm a big New Year's resolutions type person, but at the same time I call New Year's resolutions goals, just things that I want to do in 2017. But what we have to realize is day by day things change. So something that you thought you may want to do in 2017, it may not just be that serious to you at this point in time. So, stay on track is staying on track with your accomplishments. So like I said before, we do this call, to become more successful, and we throw ideas out there because there's other people on this call besides myself. So when we talk about stay on track, track your accomplishments. What are some things that you want to accomplish in 2017? I know that a lot of people, when they say New Year's resolutions, if they don't start on January 1st, keep a consistent pattern, January 2nd, January 3rd, every single day, they run off course. Because a lot of times if we disappoint ourselves, if we fail ourselves, we automatically stop doing whatever it is that we said we're going to do. So a workable goal is based on an action that you can take that is so realistic that you have control over. So it's just like if you say you're going to do something, stop saying you're going to have to do it every single day. Just be consistent with it. Just say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, or I'm going to eat healthy, on a consistent pattern and plan out my meals, or I'm going to watch my budget once a week, and then once a week go over and review my financial goals. So track your accomplishments. Set workable goals. We talk all the time, and we've actually done about 3 calls about setting goals. So however it is that you need to set goals, there's a ton of YouTube videos, audio books you can listen to, books like Eat That Frog that talks about how you can set realistic goals. However you want to set those goals, do something that's workable for you. If a to-do list works for you on a daily basis, do that. If you need to write down your monthly goals, do it. But do it to a point where if you miss out on something, you're not disappointing yourself and balling up the whole piece of paper that you wrote all your goals on and saying, forget it, because I can't keep up with it. Ignore unhelpful thoughts. A lot of times we set ourselves up for failure when we're thinking, okay, I won't be able to attain this. This is just too big for me. This budget is too strict for me. So ignore those unhelpful thoughts that are taking you nowhere. Be less like a ruler and more like a rubber band. We need to be flexible because life happens. Things are going to happen where you're going to have to stretch out your goal. Sometimes we are too strict on ourselves, and when we're too strict on ourselves, we become unrealistic, and we can't stay on track. It's almost impossible for you to stay on track with something that's too strict, and you can't stick with it. Nobody else is setting this goal for you. It's just you. But if you can't stick with something that you made, be realistic and realize in life sometimes we have to be flexible. Things happen. People get mad with one another. We get mad with ourselves. Bills happen, things happen. So sometimes we may have to spend a little bit more money, which was in our budget. So stay on track and remain strong, even when your New Year's resolutions fail. Is there anyone else on this call who wants to talk about staying on track?
Yes, I want to add something to the call. This is Shana Isaac. Good morning. It's actually something that I'm dealing with at the moment because I've had so many other things in personal life just thrown at me. I just have to move. I was given short notice that I needed to move, so I'm doing that in a short period of time. Plus, I have changes that I'm doing at my daycare, administrative changes that I'm really working to do. And, of course, other things, in the personal life that's just coming at me. But I still have my goals that I set for the entire year and the goals for the month. So, I was getting to the point where I was getting down on myself, like, oh, my goodness, like I'm getting off track. I'm not doing what I need to do. But what I had to do is just readjust the goals. Like Timeka said, be like a rubber band, be flexible. I have to understand that, okay, the ultimate goal is still the same. But what I'm doing is just alternating or just changing around my path and how much I take on my path and my pace right now. So right now I realize that on that journey of still meeting the goal and staying on track with meeting the goal, that maybe this month with all I have going on, I can focus on only one thing or one step to get there. And maybe next month when I'm settled in, I can pick up 2 and 3 and 4 like I usually do, and I'm still on track to meet my goal by the end of the year. So I just wanted to add that also. Does anybody else want to add to the conversation as well?
Yes, I'll go ahead and chime back in. According to research, it's important that you,
Good morning. Hey, this is Randolph. Hello?
I think there's some technical difficulties. Can you hear me, Shana?
Yes.
And Greg?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. According to...
We can hear you just fine.
According to researchers, it's very important that you track your accomplishments. And I know when I went to a Jack Canfield seminar, it was very important that he talked about write down your accomplishments, because when you write down your accomplishments and keep a book of your accomplishments, that's how you can go back to that book and realize how important it is that, you have a victory log. And that's what he was calling it, was a victory log. So when we create victory logs, we know that, hey, I can do this. I've done this, and this was very major for me in my life. So whatever I set out as a goal for the future, I can do that with no problem. So I know a victory log is very important for some people, because a lot of times we get in our own head. So when we set goals, let's say, for example, a goal to be a millionaire. A goal to be a millionaire when you're only making 5 figures right now, or, that's high. So when you're telling people, hey, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire, people might look at you like you're crazy. But when you go back and look at your victory log and see these major accomplishments in life that you've been doing, setting that accomplishment is realistic now, because you can add that to your victory log. I'll go ahead and pass it on to Randolph. I think he was trying to talk on the call, but we couldn't hear him.
Hey, good morning. How you all doing? Yes, it's very important to stay on track. Sorry about that. I was trying to talk and I didn't hear anything. I thought the call had ended. But staying on track is very important. I know in regards to, I want to make a certain dollar amount every week, and I needed to generate, some additional income. So it was important for me not to stay stuck in a rut and begin to complain or, wonder, oh, what am I going to do? I had to, become proactive and just start searching for an additional job to get additional income coming in for the things that I'm trying to accomplish. So it was important that, while I was trying to find another job while being employed and still having some other things going on at the same time, that I balanced my schedule in a manner to where, I could do everything that I needed to do, still not overspend my money because I wasn't making as much as I needed to, and still make my goals, pay my bills, do things like that, make my, my monthly savings that I do every month. And things are still going according to plan, and by the grace of God, got an additional job. So now, I'm definitely on my track for my New Year's goal of the amount of money that I was trying to reach on a weekly basis. So I was just wanted to add on to the call that it's important that, if you're trying to, get additional income, or like Shana was saying, she had to make a move or whatever, not to panic, but to get into planning mode. maybe you might panic initially, but, once that's over with, it's time to face reality and keep your head in the game, because life goes on, the game goes on. And, I don't know, most of us on the call, we have families to provide for. We have obligations that we have to meet on a daily basis. So it's important that, you keep your head in the game in order to obtain whatever it is that you're trying to do as far as staying on course of whatever you have planned. I'll turn it back over to Timeka.
All right. Did anyone else have anything to add before we wrap up the call?
Yeah, one thing I learned about staying on track for a specific goal, like you mentioned earlier about New Year's resolutions. One thing I've noticed with some people that I know recently is that they want to lose weight, right, and they want to get in better shape, but they get discouraged. And the one thing I noticed is that they're not doing things properly. They don't know how to reach the goal. They don't know the steps to take, even though they are putting in effort. And it kind of, that is discouraging. When you're putting in effort towards a specific goal, but you don't know that what you're doing is not going to yield the results you desire. So my thing was, and it's been a habit for me for quite some time now. Anything that I want to do, I always research it and learn how to do it properly, so that not only do I reach my goal, but I reach it in an efficient manner. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'll turn it back over to you to make it.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. And we talked about on one of our calls as far as having an accountability partner. I think having an accountability partner or accountability partners, I think that, helps you stay on track. Because if someone in your circle knows, hey, this is your goal, they're going to follow up with you and make sure, hey, how are you doing with this? Are you staying on track with this goal? And sometimes when you're slipping, for someone to ask you a question to see if you're still on track, that encourages you and motivates you and inspires you. Even if you're not on track and you're doing bad, that allows you to get back on board. Because what someone who cares about you, they want to see you be successful. So no matter what it is, having an accountability partner, to remind you and ask you about, how are you doing, that can help you stay on track. Also, following up with your milestones, like where you are, how you are on track. Like, for example, if you're on a track, if you're setting a goal to save more money. So setting a goal to save more money in 2017, that's broad. So once you say, hey, I want to save this amount this year, or, for example, I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm a Starbucks addict. I'm a buying coffee addict. So going to Starbucks every day, I'm trying my best to cut that out. I'm trying my best to just cut out fast food. And it's hard. So I can't go cold turkey when I'm always out and about and I'm not meal prepping. So what I'm doing is gradually looking at my finances once a week and saying, oh, wow, okay, I cut back on this amount. Now this week I'm going to try to cut back even more. Next week I'm going to try to cut back even more. So it's important that we look at our milestones to see where we are with our goals, whether we're doing that at once a day, once a week, once a month, to make sure we're not too hard on ourselves. Because once you see, it's just like someone who wants to lose weight. You're not going to lose 20 pounds at one time. You're going to lose pound by pound when you step on the scale. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we want to hit that goal gradually and have accountability partners. And sometimes we have so many goals. We have goals, 30, 40, 50, 100 goals. We can write a whole book on our goals that we want to achieve for our life. Sometimes to be realistic with our goals, we need to have less goals, focus in on the certain number of goals, accomplish those goals, then go to the next 5, then go to the next 5, then go to the next 5. But it's almost impossible to set your goals, make sure you're on track, make sure you're setting your milestones and you're checking in with your progress. If you have 200 goals you're trying to accomplish every single day, stick with 5, accomplish those 5, follow up with the next 5, then go back to see where you are on track. So is there anyone else on the call who wants to add to staying on track before we wrap it up? All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining this call. Thank everybody for their feedback. And make sure you say your affirmations. Make sure your affirmations start with I am. And I want everyone out there to have a nice day. And thank you for joining this call. Have a nice one.